the way that you hold a container is with such command and leadership, but from such a really gentle, loving place. You are really, really good at meeting each individual where they are. There's no shaming, especially when it comes to business type containers. I mean, I know we were working on wealth stuff, but a lot of times there's like, oh, set this goal, and then you have to be accountable to the goal. And then if you're not accountable to the goal, it's like, well, what went wrong? What went right? Type of thing. But I always have this sense of like, I don't want to show up and admit that I didn't do the thing, or I don't want to deal with the shame, or I don't even want to set goals sometimes for myself because so often I haven't shown up for myself, and a lot of times like setting that, like that harsh, like, you have to have a goal and you have to work backwards from it and you have to hit all of these milestones. Like it's so masculine. Like I have a lot of resistance to that. And there's some things there that I get to dig into, but being in your container, it's like, I don't ever feel that. I don't ever feel ashamed that I didn't do the thing or that I don't want to show up because of it. It's the complete opposite. Like I want to show up because I know that I'm going to feel like the love and support that I knew that I need to keep going. I felt seen and I felt valued. The material that you created was so thoughtful and went into such depth in a way. Sometimes it didn't feel good, like sometimes it didn't feel good
Yeah.
to have to confront those questions.
Mm.
But also, I mean, as a coach, as somebody that's into personal growth, those challenges are the things that I love the most. That's the juiciness that gets to the underneath. It cracks that open and can put me in a different direction. So, and then I really also loved that even in that, if we didn't do the homework, whether one of us didn't do it or sometimes all of us didn't do it, you would just meet us there in that. Sometimes we'd pivot in the meetings and go in a different direction and circle back around. And if we didn't get to circle back around for whatever reason, you were okay with letting it go. You were able to really take note of what was resonating, what was landing, what wasn't, and then pivot with that and then take us, let it you were so good at being in the flow of letting it just have its own energy. And I thought that made it so much fun. And I think that that is something that's incredibly special about you. You can't learn that. You can't buy that. You can't force that. It's just something that you're really good at. Being present to what's actually happening in the group is a superpower of yours. The way that you track everyone, where everyone is, and everyone gets to be a part of it is really, really special.
Mm.
Because you don't let anybody get away with hiding in plain sight. And that's my favorite place to hide. Going through the different exercises, the discussions, the WhatsApp, hearing other people's money stories too. And so I think it gave me a lot of perspective on how layered and how deep our relationship with money is and how much it affects us in almost every area of our lives without us even realizing it. Some of the exercises that you gave us would say, what's your money story now? And then we'd go through like the whole worksheet. And then by the end, you'd say, well, how has your money story, like tell your story again now? Realizing like those subtle little shifts that we can make in the story can really also change the mindset. Being in spaces like this is so supportive because you realize like, oh, it's not just me. And I think so much of us in this world are trying to do it on our own and fix it on our own and be in our own suffering. And really, we're all relatively experiencing the same thing. Like
Yeah.
we're really the same at the core. Our
Yeah.
limiting beliefs are the same. Our worries about money are the same. We're influenced by the same societal, even though it's different, we are all impacted by those things from one direction or another. I just have to say that if there's someone out there that's looking at working with you, whether it's on a wealth story or relationships or sexuality, what you bring and offer to your students is really special. And it's not something that you can find in anywhere. And that you're going to grow, you're going to learn, you're going to see, you're going to be celebrated, you're going to be held, you're going to be safe. And so if you're having any questions about whether this is for you or not, and you feel any kind of pull towards it, I would highly recommend it. And I mean, you're welcome to share my information with anybody anytime. If they wanted to ask me more questions, I'd be more than happy to be a reference for you, because I
Oh,
think
thank
that,
you.
yeah, I think that you're going to do some really, really great things. And
Um,
I'm inspired, like and I'll continue to be inspired by you. So if anybody's looking to grow and make improvements, I think that you're very dedicated and committed to helping people reach their vision and their desire, and it matters to you. And when it matters to you, it makes me feel like I matter.